I am here with Esther from Esthers Eden YouTube channel. Real quick, what is Esthers Eden?
So we teach people how to grow in a cold climate using animals to help boost your production, and we do all kinds of herb stuff and foraging and things like that.
So we're gonna get a little tour here of the homestead, meet the animals and all that. But before we do that, can you tell us real quick what we're doing here today? What you have a little project in mind,
I do. I have a project. So today I'm gonna teach Dan how to make cotton bud oil.
Just what I always wanted to know.
Yeah, right? So these are Nigerian Dwarf goats. These are all of last year's babies except for Sage. He's our wether. Right now they're hanging out in this pen because we've got a couple mamas who they usually are with who are gonna have babies this week. And then our ducks here, this is just their winter pen for now, and usually they forage and give us eggs. We keep the Nigerian Dwarfs for milk and mostly for manure to build up the garden.
Why goats and not sheep?
Well, I had a lot of bad experiences with sheep growing up.
Really?
I did, and these guys at least are entertaining. Much more entertaining than sheep are.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. She should have babies somewhere in here. I just don't know where they are.
You're harvesting the young for meat?
We do. If I can, I like to sell them.
Oh, okay.
For pets, but all of this, so this is all just from a whole year. We put dirt in there and stuff so they can dig.
What breed are these?
So these are New Zealand. I mean, I started with these guys actually for manure for the garden because the chickens weren't enough, and then these guys ended up not being enough because now my garden's like an acre and a half, and so we got the goats. So these guys are probably 8 weeks old now. Oh, maybe 10 weeks. But they're pretty sweet because the kids have been playing with them.
One of your main focuses is, of course, doing the herbal stuff. So you are growing a lot of your own.
I do, yeah. Yep.
Herbs
so
in the garden and all that. Here. I could see how this is probably a pretty epic garden in the summer.
Oh, I love this place.
We're recording this in late March. No growth yet in the garden for sure.
No. So all of this, like we leave all of this stuff out to seed, and our herb garden, it just has stuff everywhere. There's herbs here. They're just coming up. And this is lavender. I really love the permaculture aspect, and so we try to build our farm around the how many uses can we get out of a plant? How many uses can I get out of the animal that's here?
If you had to pick one herb, like what's your favorite?
Oh, that's got to be raspberry, because you can use the fruit, obviously, and you can use the leaves for just about every problem.
Wow. So if that was your only thing you could grow, that's what you pick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me like 2 things you can do with raspberry leaves. I've never heard of this.
Raspberry leaf is a super famous pregnancy herb. You can use it especially in the later part of pregnancy for helping to tone uterus. And then also it's a great children's tonic. So tonic herb just means you can use it all the time, every day, as much as you want, and it's never going to have any bad effects on you. So it just builds the immune system and health. So you can grow a lot of herbs on your farm, but you can't grow everything. So we do a lot of foraging, and cotton buds are one of the very first forages here in North Idaho. I think they grow nationwide. This is a cotton bud. Now, it doesn't really look like anything, but you might have a memory of being a small child and walking somewhere, maybe somewhere at your grandparents', and getting these really sticky buds stuck to the bottom of your feet. So this one's pretty fresh. It gets nice red on it.
Is that sticky?
It is super sticky, yep. So that is why we have the lemon oil here, because at the end you can use this lemon oil to put it on your fingers and it'll take all that sap off. So what you're doing is this is actually filled with sap, and that's what you want to extract in your oil. So this is an essential oil, so it's not what we're making today. This is a very expensive process for a tiny bottle. Today we're gonna be making this herbal oil, which is very inexpensive, and you can make it out of any herb you want to. All we're gonna do is we're just going to take any old jar, it doesn't matter what size the jar is, and we're gonna fill it up with these buds. Now you don't want any of the stem, you only want the buds off the end. So it's a pretty quick process. You just peel them off. It's a very sticky process. And then you're just gonna grab your jar of whatever size you want and you're going to go ahead and fill it. Now this jar, you can see it looks absolutely disgusting. And the reason is because cotton bud oil is also known as balm of Gilead, which is what hooked me to make it in the first place. Who could resist making something called balm of Gilead? So the jar ends up getting all covered in this resin all over it. We would take all of these and we'll end up filling it. So I haven't harvested all that I'm going to do this year. You want to make sure you're doing it before these buds turn into the leaves. Before we finish this process, you might be wondering, why in the world do you even want to bother with such a sticky process? Well, I'll tell you what, these cotton buds are so incredible. They are antimicrobial, they are antioxidant loaded. They are so good for your skin. So if you want to use them and you want to use this oil for something, using it for massages is so great. It's super hydrating for your skin and it's just amazing. Generally, when you make an oil, it only lasts for 1 year, especially like if you take really good care of it. You can see the date on here is 2020. That means it's 2 years old. And if you open it up and you smell it, it's not rancid at all.
It's not rancid.
Nope.
Smells good.
We're just gonna pretend for now that we've gone ahead and plucked all of the buds off of here and we filled our jar. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take it and take any high quality cold pressed olive oil. This bottle looks pretty rough because I buy it in bulk now and I refill. But we're just gonna pour the oil over the top, and it looks like my bottle does need to be refilled. But you would completely cover these buds just until they're covered. And then when your jar is as full as you want it and you're ready to let it set, you're gonna put the lid on just like that, nice coffee filter or cheesecloth or something. And the difference between this oil and any other kind of herbal oil is that this doesn't just sit for 6 to 8 weeks, like, you know, something like this St. John's wort. This is gonna sit for a whole year.
That's
it. That's how you make an herbal oil. Pretty simple. So this is just one of the many quick herbal wins that I have available. If you guys want to check out more, check out my website at www.estherseden.com or our YouTube channel, which is also Esthers Eden.
How can somebody identify this? Like if they want to go forage their own cotton buds, like how do you know what to look for exactly?
Go somewhere in the mountains, somewhere where there's water is perfect. And so this is actually black cottonwood, which is what we have growing all over here. And these are really huge trees. I mean, they're like over 100 feet tall at least. But you're gonna look at this part right here. This is an older branch here. And you can see, especially in the spring right now, you're gonna see underneath the trees, these branches are probably gonna be laid everywhere. But you'll look for this bud here coming up in just a little bit. There's the white fluffy cotton that floats through the air everywhere that most people do not like. That's your sign that cotton buds are somewhere in the area. I think those are the most identifying factors, but they definitely love water, that's for sure.